So, obviously, I made my video yesterday critiquing Hassan for being dishonest about Kamala Harris's political takes. And now I see this clip that was sent to me of AOC being confronted by a pro-Palestine individual at a restaurant, right? Accusing her of supporting genocide. I see the tweets in the comment section saying AOC is pro-genocide and blah, blah, blah. And to the pro-Palestine people, I'm begging y'all, just relax, bro. I want a ceasefire too, but y'all have to chill. AOC already called it a genocide in March. Now, radical pro-Palestine people have resorted to confronting her in public. Basically, like, roundabout, like, threatening her public safety, pulling up on her, trying to confront her. Let's watch this foolishness.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You want to touch me. You think so? Okay, say. How many more kids have to die if you're call a genocide? Don't touch me. How many more kids? Get out of here. How many more kids, AOC? How many more kids have to die if you call it a genocide? How many more kids? Don't touch me. How many more kids have to die if you call it a genocide? Hey, how many more kids have to die? Tell me how many more kids? How many more? How many more? 10,000 more? 20,000? How many kids have to die?
You know, growing up as a young black kid, I always used to have my leisurely time disrupted by, you know, tyrannical orders to read a book. Go read this, go read that, read. Y'all always playing them games. You always on that phone. Stop playing with that phone. Y'all always playing that video game. Go read something. And now I realize why the grown folks were constantly pressing me and my generation to read a damn book. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has already called this a genocide. This individual who confronts her in public and then when pushed out of the venue, bangs on the door like he about to do something, that individual, he apparently didn't see where she called it a genocide in March in the Capitol. She did that. She did that, and apparently it's not enough.
A decent man who said that preventing genocide is an achievable goal. A goal that requires a level of government organization and engagement that matches in its intensity the brutality and efficiency required to carry out mass killing. Too often, these efforts have come too late, after the best and least costly opportunities to prevent them have been missed. The man that said that was then Vice President and now President Joseph Biden. And he was right. Mr. Speaker, I rise to say that such a time is now. As we speak, in this moment, 1.1 million innocents in Gaza are at famine's door. A famine that is being intentionally precipitated through the blocking of food and global humanitarian assistance by leaders in the Israeli government. This is a mass starvation of people, engineered and orchestrated, following the killing of another 30,000, 70% of whom were women and children killed. There is hardly a single hospital left. And this was all accomplished, much of this accomplished with U.S. resources and weapons. If you want to know what an unfolding genocide looks like, open your eyes. It looks like the forced famine of 1.1 million innocents. It looks like thousands of children eating grass as their bodies consume themselves while trucks of food are slowed and halted just miles away. It looks like good and decent people who do nothing.
Now here's my problem with the pro-Palestine movement. Approaching politicians who actively support what you support, who use the word genocide, approaching them like this, being actively antagonistic and banging on windows, you all are actual cowards. As people like Jared Kushner call Gaza prime real estate, as Republicans carte blanche support Israel, try to remove Ukraine aid off of the bill for international support, They wanted to remove funding for Ukraine, but keep it for Israel. As they sit there and frolic about and have fun and are completely untouched by your, at this point, actual like harassment, y'all sit there and try to bully AOC. This is not okay, bro. This is not cool. And y'all about to sit there and say, well, she supports the administration that supports the genocide. Y'all are literally just stupid. By the way, that Biden administration supports LGBTQ rights, supports women's rights, rights for minorities, created the biggest infrastructure bill we've ever seen, created 14 million new jobs. That Biden administration, you got two choices here. If you undermine Biden and them who are trying to work toward a ceasefire, if you try to bully people like AOC who are calling this conflict a genocide, and you let people who are in the House of Representatives who are Republican get away with passing funding for Israel, what kind of situation are you creating? You all seem to think that Congress has no impact on legislation. You do know that Joe Biden can't just sit there, even if he wanted to. He could sit there and veto funding for Israel. He could do that. That would be stupid, but let's just say he did. You do know Congress could override a presidential veto, right? There are people other than Joe Biden, other than Kamala Harris, and other than AOC that are supporting Israel. And the bad part about it is they don't have to worry about you because you don't put any pressure on them. You don't care about how the system works. You don't care about how American politics works. You don't care about holding people accountable who really don't care about Gaza and really want the utmost amount of destruction. All you care about is feeling like you're fighting for some kind of cause. Y'all want AOC to crash out is what you want. You want AOC to get up there and say, F Israel, we breaking all ties with Israel, we finna crash out from the river to the sea. That's what y'all want. Y'all want her to call for the dissolution of Israel. Y'all want her to call for geopolitical chaos in the Middle East. That's what y'all want. Y'all want nincompoop foreign policy. That's what y'all want. Just admit it. And despite the fact that she got up there and called it a genocide, it's not even good enough for y'all. Y'all bullying her, banging on windows and shit. What the fuck we got going on? And y'all excuse this because apparently she supports the administration that enabled the genocide. So as Trump sits there and uses the word Palestinian as an insult, people who align with Trump are in Congress passing bills to support Israel because y'all just seem to think it's Biden and Kamala just with the Xbox controller blowing up Gaza. That's what y'all think. Don't even pretend. I never hear y'all mention Congress ever. It's always Biden and Harris, Biden and Harris, as MAGA just frolics right behind y'all, laughing at y'all, passing bills. It's not just establishment Democrats and even progressive Democrats doing this. There are Republicans who are happy to support Israel, literally sitting there with them, signing the bills and sending them off. I've already spoken about why Biden can't just destroy the relationship with Israel. October 7th was a massive terror attack in which American citizens were slaughtered, not just Israeli citizens. One of the biggest terror attacks of all time. Obviously, Joe Biden's not going to sit there and say, well, the optics of this war look really bad, and you guys didn't handle it perfectly. We're going to give the green light to Russia that America doesn't stand by its allies. That's what y'all want. Y'all want full-on crash out. And by the way, don't try to run from responsibility either. Because there are Americans in this country who rely on us, left-wing Democrat people, to come through for them. Okay? There are Americans who have chronic illnesses who are depending upon a left-wing Democratic presidency. They're depending upon Kamala Harris winning. They're depending upon people like AOC. They're depending upon people like, Joe Biden's leaving, but you get my point. They're depending upon Democrats. And here y'all go bullying and trying to attack people who are on your side. Meanwhile, not holding the other side of the political aisle who actively affects policy. You don't even do anything to them. You just let them get away with it. And your excuse is, well, they're not the administration. That's not how politics works. I'm not going to allow MAGA to bully this country, and I'm not going to allow the far left to do it either. I'm not about to allow either side to bully the United States. Donald Trump is actively trying to get back into power. Donald Trump tried to steal an election in 2020. Donald Trump literally allowed his supporters to ransack the Capitol for 3 hours and did nothing because he was hoping they would keep the Capitol long enough to illegally take power from Congress. That is who is running for office right now. An active insurrectionist who is actively plotting and planning to steal another election again. And instead of you guys realizing it's showtime and game time and trying to take wins where we can take them so we can work toward a ceasefire, instead what we get is people trying to bully AOC in public, banging on windows. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable at all. But this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a movement that does not care about piece by piece work toward a better tomorrow, but wants a crash out. Y'all want it to crash out. Y'all want folks to just destroy alliances, cause geopolitical chaos and mayhem. Y'all want us to send the wrong message to our allies. Y'all want us to enable geopolitical enemies of the United States. Like, you can't, like, I'm sorry. But although I feel sympathy for the people of Gaza, they are aligned with active enemies of the United States. I don't care if you like to hear that or not. They are actively aligned with enemies of the United States. So we have to tread a very thin line when working toward a better solution and a better outcome for Gaza. Because we can't just jump ship off of Israel. We can't right now. Not that we ever should, but we can't do that. It's complex. I'm glad Joe Biden's walking a tightrope and trying to be strategic about this. I'm glad Kamala Harris is being strategic about this. I'm glad that people like AOC are trying to make a stand. Although I don't entirely agree with her on everything she said, she's trying. And what does she get for trying? People pulling up on her, trying to bully her. But this is how the left works, because y'all are cowards, bro. Y'all are scared. You're scared of MAGA. I've seen the tweets. I've seen niggas being like, well, if we went to a Trump protest, we would just deal with violence. So? Trump can win. Y'all do know that, right? Don't get comfortable. Don't think we have the dub. Trump could win. We don't know what could happen between now and November. Trump could win. The last month has been something out of a novel. Trump could win. And if he wins, guess who you got to deal with now? The party that's become very comfortable with not having to listen to you because you don't say shit. And you're scared of them. Everyone knows pro-Palestine protesters are afraid of MAGA. Somebody get Antifa back. Get the real G's back. Somebody call up George Soros and get the real back, because y'all aren't willing to confront Trump in them. Trump over there calling Chuck Schumer a Palestinian, Biden a Palestinian, because apparently being called a Palestinian is a bad thing. Apparently that's now a slur in the mind of Donald Trump. Jared Kushner looks at Gaza like new, waterfront property. That whole family doesn't even respect the existence, much less the independence and self-determination of the Palestinian people. And yet we're supposed to be sitting there undermining Kamala and undermining AOC? Why? Why would we be undermining them? What do we gain from trying to snip away at what they're trying to do? I'm not with this, bro. I'm not with this. I'm not cool with this. Y'all be sitting there, we gotta hold their feet to the fire. We gotta punish them. As they're trying to take the baby steps that they can to get the outcome you want, they can't just crash out. They're trying to help. And meanwhile, the other side of the political spectrum who wields like legislative authority and power and fiscal authority and power just gets away with it scot-free. It's crazy. And y'all don't even care. You don't even care. Donald Trump sits there and just brazenly calls people Palestinian as a slur, and we're just cooling. Far left people are like, well, we could never get through to Donald Trump anyways. Y'all are not serious people. You do know we have to live with Trumpites, right? Y'all do know we have to live with his minions, right? You do know we have to live in a country of people, comprised of people who literally live in Donald Trump's alternate reality that he has created on Truth Social, his own little like Daedric realm. We have to live with them. Y'all think you think Trump just goes poof? No, he don't go poof. Them people are still gonna be here. You have to understand, MAGA is not an entity of this country. You can just, I can't hear them, blah, 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 blah. No, they're real. You have to deal with the fact that these people are real. And they don't like Gaza. They don't care about the Palestinian. I don't know why. They dislike the Palestinian people. That one throws me for like, they don't even, like, Palestine have not even done anything. They just hate them. That one throws me for a loop every time. But MAGA actively just hates Palestinian people for literally no reason. And like, bro, their politicians are happy to cut funding to Ukraine, but send funding to Israel, and the far left just sits there and twiddles their thumbs because they're scared of getting elbowed in the neck and kicked in the eye by MAGA. Because they know if they pull up the Trump rallies and interrupt him while he's talking, they're going to push y'all down the flight of steps. Y'all aren't serious people, bro. You only attack the people that are on your side because you're afraid to attack the people who truly represent demonic forces of evil. Actively opposes democracy, wants to force Christianity on atheist students and Muslim students and Jewish students, and like wants to pull away women's rights. Like, and that's my biggest problem with y'all is you are actively undermining the only people standing in between the United States becoming like a theocratic fascistic state. Right? Y'all are actively undermining the rights of women, LGBTQ people, minorities, the prosperity of the middle class. You are actively undermining democracy when you try to undermine Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and the Democrats. When y'all actively try to paint them as people who are genocidal and evil, you are undermining the only people standing in between the end of democracy, the end of rights for women, LGBTQ people, people of color. You are actively trying to undermine the only people standing in the way. You don't take Trump seriously. A lot of y'all are so insulated from what goes on with Trump and MAGA, you don't know how serious this is. A lot of y'all far left people still think it's 2016. It's not. Trump is infinitely worse than he used to be. 2020, January 6th proved that. Read the indictments. This is not a game. We can worry about Gaza when we've secured the actual existence of the United States. I would love for there to be a ceasefire. But in order for us to do that, Trump can't be allowed to win. Because I don't know if y'all have heard, but apparently Trump is conversing with Bibi Netanyahu, telling him, don't do any ceasefires. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't work with them. Don't talk to them. Y'all need to be held accountable for this. You are actively undermining our only shot at protecting democracy 2 to 3 months out of the election. What are y'all doing? This is not time for infighting at all. Trump has lost momentum, but we can't afford to give him any more and to take any away from Kamala. Y'all are not taking this seriously, and y'all are bullying people who are on your team. I don't get it. I frankly don't understand. Trump and them represent a force of evil that we haven't seen in decades. And they just get free, like, carte blanche from y'all. They can just do whatever they want because, well, they won't listen to us. Says who? Y'all ain't ready to fight for shit? Y'all ain't ready to fight for nothing? Because they won't listen is your excuse? So as center-left people are forced to argue back and forth with MAGA to pull people away, y'all just get to sit there and twiddle your thumbs and cross your little legs and look around, occasionally bully someone who's on your side, and then go back to twiddling y'all thumbs. Leaving center-left people to do all the fucking heavy lifting. It's disgusting. It's absolutely just disgusting. I've got nothing against people who are concerned about, you know, people in Gaza. I have nothing against those who want a ceasefire. I want a ceasefire, but we got to be logical about this. There's no excuse for AOC being harassed in public. Zero. You got Republican politicians who proudly and brazenly want funding for Israel and only Israel, and actively want Gaza to be just blown the fuck up, and y'all just sit there and don't say nothing. And these people are actively like passing legislation. Some of y'all aren't even invested in America. That's the truth about some of y'all. Some of y'all don't even care about this country. I'll say it if no one else is capable of saying it. It might just be a little bit of stuff left over from when I used to be a Trump supporter, but some of y'all don't like this country or care about it. I'm willing to say what other leftists or liberals aren't willing to say. I'm not a leftist, but I'm willing to say what other liberal Democrats aren't willing to say. Some of y'all don't care about America, and you don't like America. You care more about Gaza. Let's just tell the truth. You care more about Gaza. You don't care about the rights of LGBTQ people, women, minorities, religious minorities like Muslims, some of whom are Palestinian, living in America, who MAGA are actively trying to undermine. Read Project 2025. Read the indictment against Trump for January 6th. These people want to overrule democracy, religious freedom, reproductive freedom, marital freedom. These folks are coming for everything that is non-white, non-Christian, non-conservative. That's what they're coming for. And a lot of y'all don't give a damn. You don't care about the vulnerable here in America. You don't care. You don't care that we're literally one election away from possibly being a fascistic, theocratic, racist state. You don't care. The only thing you care about is Gaza, and you're willing to attack your own allies just to double down on that fact. Y'all are insane. And some of you don't care about the U.S. The majority of you, I trust most pro-Palestine people, but there's a minority of y'all that have a massive voice, that are actively anti-American, don't care about the future of this country, and are happy to hand Trump the keys to destroy the greatest nation in the world over a conflict we can't immediately affect. But keep it up, though. Keep it up, though. Keep it up. I hope Joe Biden and Kamala, specifically Kamala, because Biden's going, he's heading out, but I hope Kamala keeps a leveled head. I hope she does not, and AOC, I hope they don't allow the buffoonery going on to dissuade them from continuing to work toward the good of the Palestinian people. But, bro, somebody has to say this, because everybody else is just going soft gloves with y'all, bro. Y'all, bro, somebody needs to say it. Somebody has to say it. So, that's just the truth. It is what it is.